Hello and welcome to the Cardboard Dungeon. My name is Pat, and in this video I'm looking at the ATRT expansion pack for Star Wars Legion. So this is a single unit expansion, same as what comes in the core Star Wars Legion box, although the sculpt for the pilot is a little bit different, so there is that. But very nice model, not very posable. The legs, unlike the ATST expansion, are fixed into position, so you can't do much with it, although you can exchange the weapon, the sling-mounted weapon in the front. There's a few different choices for that, and unless you're going to magnetize it, though, that will require it to be glued in because it doesn't have a push-in socket or anything for that, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm not going to customize my minis with magnets, I don't think. I'm going to go that extra step, but if you want to do that, you can swap them out. But there are 3 different weapons to match the 3 different options included in this expansion. Okay, so looking at the unit card, starting at the top left, we can see it's a Rebel unit costing 55 points. On the upgrade bar, it can take a hard point and a comms upgrade. Down at the bottom, it's got 2 weapons. The first is a melee-only weapon, Grappling Claws, rolling 3 red dice, so a pretty beefy attack, and it does have impact 1. So against armored targets, it's going to change 1 hit into a crit. And then the pilot has his A300 blaster rifle, range 1 to 3, and rolls 2 white dice, which is basically nothing. I mean, this is, if you can't do any other form of attack, you can still at least do this, but it's pretty unlikely to do much of anything. Now, it is worth noting, though, the pilot can shoot in a 360-degree arc, whereas the weapons that you're going to have attached on this vehicle are going to be fixed to the front arc only. So if you're walking away, there's no enemies in front of you. You can at least get a little pot shot off with your pilot, but it's a last-ditch sort of a thing. All right, above that, the 2 red bars means a speed of 2. This unit can change attack surges into critical hits, which is pretty cool. And then it's got a resilience rating of 4, so once it takes 4 wounds, it's going to have some kind of a breakdown or a weapons malfunction or something. And then it's got 6 total health, rolls a white die for defense. It is a ground vehicle, which means that it can stop and hold in place and pivot in place, unlike the repulsor vehicles. And it does have a unit count of 1, so 1 per unit. It is a support unit. In the middle of the card, we can see that it's got armor, which means that it cancels all hit results when it's defending. You have to have critical hits to do damage to this thing. It's a climbing vehicle, and it's an expert climber, so it can get around terrain. It can go up vertical terrain without the chance of suffering any damage, which makes it a little more versatile than some of the other vehicles that we've seen in the game as far as traversing the different terrain elements that you might have. Okay, let's look at the upgrade cards that you get with this expansion. First up, we've got the ATRT Rotary Blaster. It's a hard point upgrade costing 30 points. It has a range of 1 to 3 and it rolls 5 black dice. It is ATRT only, and it is fixed to your front arc. So you can shoot only out of the front arc. Targets must be inside your front arc. 5 black dice is pretty good. So this is going to be a nice weapon, especially against trooper units. Next up, the ATRT Laser Cannon, also a hard point upgrade costing 35 points. This one has a range of 2 to 4, so it can get out there at the furthest range. It rolls 1 red die and 2 black dice. ATRT only. It has impact 3, so when you're attacking a unit with armor, you can change up to 3 results to critical results. So this is going to be the weapon that you want when you are going after the heavy vehicles that your enemy might bring, because it can do some damage to those. And it is, of course, fixed front. All of these weapons are going to have that front arc only requirement. And then lastly, the other weapon here is the ATRT flamethrower. It has a range of 1, rolls 2 black dice, ATRT only. It has blast, which means that it ignores cover bonuses that its targets might have. Fixed to the front arc, of course, and then it has spray, which means that you won't always only be rolling 2 black dice. You actually add the dice from this weapon, those 2 black dice, into your attack pool for each mini in the defending unit that you have line of sight to. So this flamethrower could actually roll a ton of dice, 2 per mini. So if you're shooting at a trooper unit with 6 guys, that's going to be 12 black dice with blast, so it ignores cover. You can do some serious damage, but of course you got to be real close in order to do that. All right, and then we have a copy of Long Range Comlink Comms Upgrade, costing 10 points. This is a you're going to get a bunch of copies of these if you buy all of the expansions in Wave 1 of Legion. And this is the one that lets you receive orders from your commander even if you're out of range of the commander, which is useful for vehicles that tend to stray further from your commander than your troopers, for example. And then finally, a Comms Jammer, another comms upgrade, 15 points. Enemy units at range 1 can't be issued orders unless they're issuing an order for themselves. So you get this your vehicle that has the Comms Jammer on it in close, and you can shut down an enemy unit's ability to receive orders. All right, so neat little unit for the Rebels. I like the look of these things. Pretty inexpensive at 55 points, but you really do need to spend a bunch of points to put one of those 3 weapons on it in order to make it effective, because you can't really rely on getting into melee combat with these things, and you really can't rely on the rifle that the pilot's carrying. So you're going to want one of those specialized weapons, and in fact having a couple of these ATRTs in a Rebel army is not a bad idea. Put a laser cannon on one, put the rotary cannon on another, and you've got a couple of units that are good for going after either heavy armor or trooper units. So you can customize and pick your targets and maximize their damage potential against the enemy forces. Okay, as always, thanks for watching the Cardboard Dungeon, and I'll see you next time.